So now it's time to go head-to-head with the Giants and the Jacksonville Jaguars and some of the key matchups you'll be watching for in this game. Now, first up, Shaun, we're looking at Darnay Holmes against slot receiver Christian Kirk. Kirk is very nifty, he's very quick, and Holmes knows it's going to be a busy day.
I would say they're definitely using him to his skill set. Since Texas A&M, he's been a guy who's been shifty. Option guy right on a guy who could take the top off, so I feel like they're definitely utilizing him to his strength. So I'm definitely excited for the matchup.
Over the last few weeks, it doesn't look like he's gotten as many targets as he did in the first few weeks of the season, and they've been struggling a little bit. So would you expect they're going to try to start feeding him again this week, or do you see teams playing him differently that they can't get the ball to him?
Yeah, I'll say that's some insightful information. I definitely didn't know that he had a lack of targets, so that pretty much makes it I wouldn't say a force, but definitely something that they're going to want to get him the ball more. You know, that's just how offenses work and operate. So we just ready for the opportunity, I'm ready for the matchup, and if they get more targets for him, that's better for me.
Week in and week out, Darnay Holmes gets the team's best weapons, and no doubt he's got another task ahead of himself. Christian Kirk, an interesting little study on him for this season. He started out on fire, 18 catches throughout the first 3 games, and in the last 3 games combined, he's only got 7 catches. So things have kind of fizzled out a little bit for him, but no doubt he represents a great matchup for Darnay. Obviously, when you're in the slot, you've got to handle the two-way go, and I think one of the things that they've done a great job of is bringing some pressure in different packages to help Darnay, so that now he can just kind of defend half of that field when he's in the slot. But I really think this is a great matchup in Darnay's favor. I think when you have a quarterback in Christian Kirk who's still working on the relationship with the young quarterback in Trevor Lawrence, they haven't been together for very long, so there's still some opportunities for him to maybe jump a couple routes, maybe kind of read a couple things, and hopefully get a couple of turnovers.
Shaun, one of the things I like about Holmes, he has only 1 missed tackle this year. Now, that can come into play not only against a nifty guy like Kirk, but also in run support, because Etienne and Robinson, each of them have over 300 yards rushing this year, making them the only pair of teammates in the NFL that have done so.
Yeah, Jacksonville coming off of a big game, even though they lost, they had 243 yards rushing last week. So that's going to be a big part of the game as well. First and second down, you got to make sure you tackle the ball carriers, the running backs specifically. And then on third down, get off the field. I know Darnay is studying film. I know he's becoming a student of the game. It's certainly helping with some of the veterans he has around him.
Okay, Shaun, let's see. Our next up is Andrew Thomas against Josh Allen. Thomas at left tackle does have only 1 penalty this year, but you can appreciate this. It was for illegal formation. It wasn't a hold. It wasn't a false start. Yeah. All right, that's good stuff. And I will say this. Josh Allen, though, is the kind of guy who can get you a little bit shaky sometimes.
That's just the beauty of the NFL. Every week, you're going to get some of the most talented, physically guys, in the country. Obviously, he can bend really well to be that size, and not just him. I mean, their whole front is talented. They got the kid out of Georgia, Trayvon. I played with him when he was a freshman and a sophomore there. But they're all talented, really explosive. So you got to be ready.
It doesn't look like they do a lot of blitzing. They rely on those guys to get it done on their own. How does that change your outlook in terms of dealing with them?
You're not going to be surprised. You know what's coming, and it's just mano a mano who's going to win the battle, and that's kind of how we like it.
Andrew Thomas has already put together a Pro Bowl type performance this year. I mentioned it earlier on this season that I saw him in training camp. I thought this was going to be his best year ever. His balance, his punch, his athleticism, it's showing up big time. But he's going to be tested. Josh Allen, as you mentioned, Paul, he has really been their most disruptive defensive player. You see right down here the stats: 3 sacks, 2 forced fumbles. All right, that's on the quarterback, 5 tackles for loss. And I'll add to this, he's got 10 quarterback hits. So while it may not be registering as a sack, he's absolutely getting to the quarterback, disrupting the passing game, and that's something that Andrew Thomas has been phenomenal at this season. He's taken on some of the best passers in the league, and he has shut them down. I think he's become the leader of this offense up front, and I know he looks at challenges like this. He takes it personally. He's very professional. He's always studying film, and I think the biggest thing with Andrew Thomas is he's playing with a little bit of an edge. You kind of see him finishing blocks now. He's playing very physical, and I tell you what, his sets right now look so graceful. They look so confident, and that's such a big part of the game when you're playing left tackle.
You mentioned quarterback hits, Shaun. He had 4 in 1 game against the LA Chargers back in week number 3. That'll do it for this edition of Head to Head.